It seems that we are right back in the exact same position that we have been in so many times before within this game. We hit a very low point with the game, and then as soon as content comes, this game's then amazing again, and then we battle through it, and then eventually the game just becomes dead again. And it seems for a lot of loyal players, this game has been dead for like the last 2, maybe even 3 months. But with recent weeks, there has been a lot of new players coming to the game, with Red Dead Redemption 2 hitting the Xbox Game Pass. And as these new players are coming in, they're seeing videos from different YouTubers, they're seeing different Twitch streams, and they're also seeing other loyal players talk about this game in comments and even on Twitter. And in most cases, it is very negative. Even if we look at the tweets that Rockstar put out on a weekly basis for the Red Dead Online newswire, we go through some of the replies and comments from that, there is nothing good to be said about this game. So it does raise the question for a new player that's starting, whether or not it's worth trying to get into online. And similar to this, there's also the question of whether or not a player that did play this time last year but stopped because of the lack of content, whether or not it's worth for them trying to get back into it. But before I get into the video, I do just want to shout out the Twitch stream. I am streaming every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. If you want to be a part of that, all you need to do is head over to Twitch, drop a follow, and you'll be notified exactly when I go live. Recently, I have been trying to help out viewers of the stream, helping them progress through different roles, as well as setting up my own trader business and my Moonshine Shack business, so that every time that I sell something, they will get money as well. If you would like to be a part of that, then there is a link in the description down below. Getting back to the video, just as a bit of background, I have been playing Red Dead Online ever since day one. I got Red Dead Redemption 2 the day it was released, and as soon as Red Dead Online was available to the players in beta, I jumped into it as soon as it went live. So I have been playing for a long time, and because of the lack of updates in the game early on, it meant that I was always ahead. It meant that as soon as an update did drop, I was able to find out exactly where it is, buy into it immediately, and more or less complete it very quickly. And because I am doing YouTube videos, there is a benefit for me completing content quickly, because it then means I can show it to you guys. And if I'm able to show you something that's interesting, or maybe even something that not everyone else is able to access, it means that video will get a lot of attention. So in some situations in the past when playing this game, I have rushed through the content. But last week I did do a video talking about starting Red Dead Online, and this was there for new players to start the game who got it with the Xbox Game Pass. And from starting the game, playing through every single mission, and getting all the way to the bounty hunter and the collector role, I did not experience a single problem. And that is round about 10, maybe 15 hours of content, and I was taking my time throughout it. The whole point of the video was to show you the best and most efficient way to start this game and progress to those roles. And part of that is to take your time. The longer it takes you to do a mission, the more money, gold and XP you get. The more money and gold you have, the more you can buy within the game. So it's just that constant loop. So this was probably one of the first times where I played the game without rushing through it. And from the moment that I started it, created my character, went through all the different missions, going from honorable and dishonorable, managed to buy into the bounty hunter, managed to keep on grinding through the bounty hunter, doing stranger missions and the bounty hunter, and also doing different awards, and eventually progressing through the collector, only to then do collectibles to get money. I did not experience a single bug. And that is the main problem with Red Dead Online right now, is the amount of bugs within the game. But I managed to do all of that, 10 to 15 hours of content, without experiencing a single problem. Now that's not me saying that problems do not exist as part of the collector and the bounty hunter, because they do. Sometimes you will not be able to interact with the bounty board, and that will require you to find a new lobby or even close down Red Dead Redemption 2 and open it up again. There are also problems with the collector, but some of the problems with the collector cannot be found until later on. For example, if you're trying to get 10 of every set, that is when you'll start to find a few problems, because some collectibles actually register as other collectibles. So if you already have one specific type of collectible which is already at 10, you might not be able to pick up a completely different one because they register as the exact same thing. But that's not a problem that you should experience early on. And the bounty board not spawning in is such a minor problem compared to the other problems within the game. The point that I'm trying to make here is that if you do go into Red Dead Online for the very first time, you can actually play quite a few hours without experiencing any of the problems, and it's just you experiencing the game. And with that experience, you can decide whether or not you like the game to carry on playing, or whether or not you dislike the game, in which you'll stop, close down the game, and just play something completely different. What I would recommend is that you play through the game, go through the bounty hunter, go through the collector, and then just stop there. You can carry on playing this game, doing stranger missions, doing bounty hunter missions, and even collecting collectibles. Just because you've hit rank 20 within the bounty hunter and collector doesn't mean that you just stop. You can carry on playing them, and that is exactly what I recommend you do, because the problems arise the second you go into the trader, and it was the exact same thing with my playthrough. The very second that I got into the trader is when all the problems started to happen. The camp is the most broken thing within the game, and right now you're probably thinking that the camp is there as soon as you start the game and not necessarily something that you get as part of the trader role. And yes, that is 100% true, but when starting the game, going through the missions, going through the bounty hunter role, and going through the collector, there is no requirement within the game for you to go to your camp apart from the tutorial right at the beginning. As soon as I completed that tutorial, I did head over to my camp because I did do some hunting within the tutorial, and I decided that I will use this at some point, so I cooked that meat. Between then going through all the missions, going through the bounty hunter and the collector, I never went back, because the meat that I did manage to hunt and cook off lasted me a very long time, making sure that my cores were always full, so I didn't have to go back to the camp to cook. But on top of that, I could also use just some other places within the world of Red Dead Online. Wherever there is a campfire, I can craft and cook. But the second that you buy into the trader, you now have a reason to go to your camp. You now have a business to run, and with that you need to go out, find animals, and bring those animals back to your camp to resupply your camp. You then need to do resupply missions, go out, do a certain mission, and then bring it back to your camp. And after you've done that a fair few times, you now need to sell the goods, which requires you to go back to your camp, sell the goods, and then come back to your camp to go through that whole loop again. And that is when you'll start to experience a lot more problems. That is when you'll start to notice them a lot more. These camp problems do exist within the game as soon as this game starts, but you will never notice them until you buy into the trader, because that requires you to go to your camp a lot more. And as soon as you get through the trader and you can move on to the very next role, which is the Moonshiner, that role is filled with twice as many problems. We're talking moonshine shacks disappearing, we're talking NPCs within the shack disappearing, not being able to interact with Marcel, not being able to interact with Maggie Fike, infinite loading screens, losing moonshine, and also just not getting paid for your deliveries. All of this is part of the game. So this comes all the way back down to the question that we were asking at the beginning. Is it worth playing Red Dead Online? And the answer is yes, up until a certain point. Play the game, go through story missions, go through stranger missions, go through the bounty hunter role, go through the collector role, and then just stop there. After that, this process becomes a lot more tedious, it's a lot more painful, having to go through a role where you know exactly what you need and must do, but unfortunately the game prevents you. So get to the bounty hunter, get to the collector, complete those, and then stop. Do not carry on pushing for the trader and then Moonshiner. You can still have a lot of fun within the game without having to go through those roles. As soon as Rockstar do get round to fixing this game, hopefully they will fix the trader and also the Moonshiner. That is the point in which you will play through these roles, and you will get the most enjoyment out of them, because you will not have to deal with the problems that are currently within the game. And finally, if you are a player that has played before, whether or not it was this time last year or even somewhere around Christmas, but you stopped either because of the problems within the game or the lack of content, then this game is probably still not worth you trying to get into. We're still lacking a hell of a lot of content, and we're still having to deal with a hell of a lot of problems. So for you, there's really no reason for you to come back, because you will just be dealing with the exact same thing as what you did before, and that will probably still result in you stop playing because you're getting fed up with what you were getting fed up with. And it wouldn't be long until you get to a position where you'll find where most of the loyal players are, players that have been playing since day one, where we're only just playing for the potential of this game. We're preparing by trying to get as much money and gold as possible, we're stacking out on all the collector sets, so that once that next update does drop, we can all just jump into it straight away. But it could also lead to us completing it very quickly and then being in the exact same position in which we are now. So that is the answer of whether or not it is worth playing Red Dead Online in 2020. It is only really worth it for new players, and only up to a certain point. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. If you would like to see more content from me, then head over to Twitch. I stream every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. There will be a link in the description down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going, so see ya.